Step into the shadows of tomorrow, where dark mysteries unravel and the fragile line between reality and mind-bending fantasy completely shatters. We are the Surricate Squad, your guides through cinematic what-if scenarios that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Subscribe and stay with us if you dare to discover what lies beyond. What if every true crime documentary, every podcast, and every forensic textbook you have ever consumed shares one fundamental flaw? They are all based on failures. We study the killers who left a fingerprint. We analyze the masterminds who bragged to an informant. We dissect the crimes where the body was found, the motive was uncovered, and the physical evidence was presented in a court of law. No justice. In statistics, this is called survivorship bias. We only ever see the criminals who made a mistake, which leads to a terrifying, logical paradox. If a crime is executed flawlessly, by definition, it doesn't look like a crime at all. There is no yellow tape. There is no detective staring at a corkboard. What if the perfect crime isn't just a Hollywood myth? What if someone already committed a crime and we'd never know? Today, we are going to explore the scientific, logical, and psychological anatomy of the ideal murder crime that cannot be proven. In principle, mind blown. To understand the perfect crime, we first have to dismantle the CSI Effect. Pop culture has convinced us that modern forensics DNA phenotyping, digital forensics, and ubiquitous CCTV make it impossible to get away with murder. Forensic science is built on Locard's exchange principle. Every contact leaves a trace. The killer brings something to the scene and takes something away. But science also dictates that traces degrade. Traces can be corrupted. And most importantly, traces only matter if investigators know where to look and who to compare them to. If an individual has no prior criminal record, their DNA and fingerprints are not in any database. A stray hair left at a scene is essentially meaningless if there is no suspect to match it against. Furthermore, the perfect crime doesn't try to defeat forensics in a laboratory. It defeats forensics by preventing the investigation from ever starting. The ideal murder doesn't look like a homicide, it looks like an accident. Or better yet, it looks like a tragic, natural medical event. Criminologists look for three things: motive, opportunity, and means. To engineer an unprovable crime, you must sever the connection between the victim and the perpetrator. Most murders are crimes of passion or financial gain committed by a spouse, a friend, or a business partner. The perfect crime requires an absolute vacuum of motive. It must be a stranger-on-stranger interaction. No digital communication, no shared geolocation history, no financial ties. But what about the means? A violent death invites an autopsy. An autopsy invites a toxicologist. Historically, poisoners sought the perfect, undetectable toxin. Today, forensic toxicology can detect almost anything: arsenic, cyanide, strychnine, but there are compounds that mimic natural bodily functions so closely that, unless a pathologist is explicitly looking for them, they pass as natural causes. Consider a massive, induced overdose of insulin in a non-diabetic person causing a fatal hypoglycemic coma. Or succinylcholine, a paralytic that breaks down rapidly into natural body chemicals, leaving virtually no trace after a few hours. To the naked eye, and even to a standard medical examiner, the death looks like a sudden, tragic cardiac arrest. No crime scene, no investigation, no perfect crime to solve because no crime is suspected. If the method isn't medical, the alternative is the absolute erasure of the victim. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are reported missing globally. Most are found within days, but a small percentage vanish into the ether. They become statistical ghosts. The sheer vastness of the Earth's geography is the perfect accomplice. There are thousands of square miles of dense woodlands, deep lakes, and remote deserts where a human body could remain hidden for centuries. If a victim lives a transient lifestyle, has no close family, and their disappearance isn't noted for weeks, the trail goes completely cold before the police even know there is a trail to follow. The perfect crime relies on the apathy of the world. It exploits the cracks in society where people fall through every single day. Without a body, there is no physical evidence of a crime. Without a crime scene, there is no jurisdiction. The perpetrator simply walks away, absorbed back into the mundane reality of everyday life, sitting next to you on a train or standing behind you in line for coffee. So, if the science of the perfect crime is theoretically possible, why do we catch so many masterminds? The answer isn't a failure of logistics, it is a failure of human psychology. In Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, the protagonist Raskolnikov commits what he believes is a philosophically justified, perfect murder. But he is destroyed not by the police, but by his own mind. The human brain is not wired to carry the absolute, isolating weight of taking a life without consequence. The perfect crime demands absolute, permanent silence. You can never boast, you can never confess on a deathbed. You can never write it in a journal. For psychopaths and narcissists, the personality types most likely to attempt a perfect crime, this silence is agonizing. Their ego demands an audience. They want credit for their dark genius. They taunt the police, they keep trophies, they return to the scene. The perfect crime requires an imperfect human to behave like a flawless, emotionless machine for the rest of their natural life. And that is the ultimate fail-safe of humanity. The perfect crime doesn't exist in a police evidence locker. It exists in the cemetery, buried under a headstone that reads natural causes. It exists in the cold case files of people who simply walked out their front door and evaporated. Logically, statistically, the perfect crime has already happened. Probably more times than we could ever comfortably admit. There are people walking the streets right now, living normal lives, who have successfully executed the ultimate transgression, and the world will never, ever know. What do you think is the biggest vulnerability in planning a hypothetical perfect crime? Is it the forensics or the human mind? Let me know in the comments below. If this video made you question the reality around you, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay curious and stay safe.